Hello folks, welcome back to DIY guitar making, a late night edition here. It has been a while since I spoke to any of you guys. I've been a little bit MIA, and that's because I've actually been doing so much here that I just had to let the videos completely go for about a month so that I could just catch up on the commissions that I have going right now, the classes. I just started the Florentine cutaway classes. I'm actually in the middle of one right now. Here's one of the students' guitars with half of the binding installed. Tomorrow we'll be doing the binding and purfling and mother of pearl purfling on the top. So it's going to get really interesting there. I have two students going right now. We're having a great time. What else do I have going on? I've got a commission I'm working on for a guy named Doug in Westchester. I'll be showing you guys more of that in the days to come. And I have a show coming up in Mount Gretna. I have another show after that in Virginia Beach. And anyway, I could just babble on here about the reasons why I'm super busy, but none of that matters. Let's answer some of your questions and do some Q&A. Let me pull out my phone here. I'm just winging this here because it's late, and I just figured I really wanted to squeeze in a video. I haven't done it in a while. And there's so much going on in the Discord and with your YouTube comments that I just want to address some of it. So I'm just going in blind here. Let's look at some of your questions. Loading up the Discord. My phone is sluggish. Okay, JT in the Discord writes, "Hi all, I wanted to share a Tonewood supplier I just found out about, EliteTonewoods.com. Okay, I don't know anything about them, so you snuck that in there. This is what happens when I go in blind. Patrick writes, I've bought several sets from them, A+. Larry Kuhn writes, me too. Okay, cool. I have no problem with you guys throwing Tonewood suppliers in there, especially if they're very helpful and everybody likes them. Okay. All right, and another one from JT on neck angles. He writes, hello, after making 5 acoustics, I've decided to venture into building an electric. I'm looking at neck angles, and it looks like you need to have a 2 to 3 degree neck angle for certain bridges, i.e. the Tunematic, because they would be too high. However, I'm wondering if you can just route a pocket for the bridge to make it lower and then not have a neck angle. LC Guitars writes, yes, you can. Yes, very much. And then Lamar's Guitars adds to this. And I'm just reading these guys' responses here because electric guitars, man, that is just not my thing. I know I can say a couple things about them, but I know LC Guitars, that's his world. So he can give a great response on that. And Lamar's Guitars too. He does quite a bit with electrics. He writes, I would go for getting the proper neck angle for the bridge you're making, even if it came down to using shims. Yes, you can route a pocket for a tall bridge, but I would only do that as a remediation. I couldn't correct otherwise. Also keep in mind how you'll mount your pickups and how high they'll sit. Lowering the bridge too much can place the strings too close to the pickups. It really is a dance among neck angle, pocket depth, pickup height, and bridge height. I like that answer, especially that it describes the interplay between the various things that are all included in that setup, which, you know, I'm just going off of what I understand with acoustic guitars, where that sort of interplay, yeah, we don't have pickup heights, of course, but keeping all those big picture elements in mind, always very important. You can often lose sight of that when you just have a one-size-fits-all solution like routing that pocket, for example. So that's a great answer. That's not to say that you can't route the pocket. I don't know. LC Guitar says you can. And that's it for, I don't want to go on with electric guitars because that's not what the show is, but I'm happy to include a little of it. Okay. Sam Moore, who is here right now building this. I mean, he's not here with me, but he's taking this class right now, building this parlor guitar, this parlor guitar sound box with side purfling and mother of pearl around the rosette and the top purfling, and Wengi for the back and sides. So he writes, Stu Max has been unavailable for quite a while, but I found this one, and this is on the thread about rosette cutters. And so actually he showed me this when he got here. So this is, so I'm happy to share this. This is from elmerguitar.com. It is an alternative to the Stu Mac circle cutting jig, and honestly it looks like the same thing. I will say the pin is smaller, which simply is relevant because it doesn't, the pinhole size doesn't fit with my Radial Rosette Maker jig, but easily overcome by adapting the pin or the pinhole in either case. Patrick writes, that looks exactly like the one from Stu Mac. You won't get it very fast though. It ships from China. Okay. And Doc Brown has a question or comment on form and mold construction. Probably a question. Let's see. Doc Brown writes, the first thing I learned on my guitar building journey is you need to be a jig and tool builder first. That is absolutely true. There are a lot of jigs to build and some tools to build. A lot you can simply buy if you have the funds, but low budget builders like I was when I started, you're going to build a lot of those tools. And it's actually quite fun to do so. Going on with his comment, he writes, I built a go bar deck, neck angle jig, shooting board, glue up jig. I'm not sure what that specifically refers to, a glue up jig, and a side bender. For the side bending forms, I have seen ones built with metal tube spacers, solid forms using MDF and plywood, and the 3-board form used in the current Stu Mac side bender. Similarly, molds are built with particle board, MDF, and plywood. Before I start to build my forms and molds, I wanted some input on the preferred choices. What does the community use for forms and molds? I welcome any suggestions and recommendations. I love this question because I have a pretty strong opinion on this. High quality plywood, I think, is always the best. MDF has some issues. It does not hold screws well at all. I have screws pull out on jigs and things I've built with MDFs. Actually, that just happened during this class on one of my side benders that I unfortunately used MDF on. That's not to say never use MDF. Just consider whether or not you're going to be driving a screw into something at any point for its use. If so, I would try and avoid it if you can. Plywood works much better. So if you have access to high quality plywood, I would use it. When I say high quality plywood, by the way, what that means is plywood that has a lot of laminations, as opposed to the plywood you typically find at your department stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, where there's only a couple laminations. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 laminations on a 3/4 inch board. That's pretty poor quality, and there's a good chance that there's going to be a lot of voids and things like that within those laminations as well when they're that large. High quality plywood, on the other hand, that you would find from like Woodcraft at Rockler, places like that, is going to have like 13 laminations on a 3/4 inch board. So a big difference there. And honestly, it does make a big difference in the usability of that wood. Again, its ability to hold a screw is improved from having more laminations. Its ability to be flat and remain flat is better with more laminations. So it's just something to look for. Typically, it's called project plywood. So be on the lookout for that. Avoid the cheap stuff. But hey, plenty of stuff in here is built with the cheap stuff. So if you got to use it, you got to use it. Plywood is very expensive nowadays. Particle board, just avoid it. I've got some stuff built with particle board in here, some old early molds. You can get away with it, but that stuff really doesn't hold a screw, and it chips out very easily. A whole bunch of workability issues just because of the nature the fact that it's basically just big chunks of wood mixed with glue. Very brittle and just kind of falls apart. I don't like the stuff. Yeah, let's see what anybody else said here. Rick Malloy says these all look great. I have the LMI side bender as well as the Stumac bender. I'm going to rebuild my LMI bender this fall to be similar to the Stumac one. Okay, so he really likes the Stumac one, which I don't know if it still is, but when it first came out, it's like around $2,000. Which, hey, if I don't mind spending good money for quality, but and that seems like a little bit of a stretch. $2,000 for a quality bender, but at the very least, it sounds like Rick is saying it. You're getting something for your money. And going on here, he writes, as far as forms go for the bender, the 3 boards seem to work really well, but they're even better if you have dowels or rods through them. There's just a little more slop than I would like without the dowels holding them firmly in place. Oh, that's right. So you also asked about the different methods of constructing the bending forms that go in your side bending machine. And I would say all 3 of those work, either the solid forms, which I have, or the tubes that connect 2 outside pieces, or like on the Stumac bender, just the separate pieces. I would do whatever is the least amount of work because they all work. I built solid forms only because I didn't know any better, and now that's what I know how to do, so that's what I continue to do, even though it's more work and honestly for no extra benefit, I don't think. I think the tubes connecting the pieces saves a lot of time and it's easier to do. So honestly, if I was starting over, I probably would have just started there. Okay. Alrighty, I'm sure there's definitely a lot more questions in the Discord channel because I haven't been in here in a while, but I want to give YouTube a chance. So let's hop over there, and I'm on limited time here, so let's see what we got. While this is loading up, I just want to say, man, I miss doing this. This is a lot of fun. I mean, really the fun part for me is not even just delivering this podcast right now, but getting the follow-up questions that come off of doing this and the follow-up comments. So anyway, I'm logged out. Hold on. This is always good podcasting when you're troubleshooting. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. I got a new phone here, so I have to re-log into YouTube. Give me 1 second, guys. Thank you for your patience. Oh, never mind. I can't do this without downloading an app, which I'm not going to do while I'm recording right now. Okay. I hate to just end it there. Let me do one more question from the Discord, just to not end on such a sour note as me rambling through this right here. All right, let's get back on track, guys. Okay, here we go. R. Breen writes, what do you use for oils or polish? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. What do you use to oil or polish up the fretboard and bridge? And LC Guitars writes, I use a thinned out True Oil on the fretboard before I fret, then a few more coats on it after doing the fret level, crown, and polish. Oh, that's interesting. I want to put a pin on that and get back to that after I finish reading. He writes, the bridge depends on the wood. Rosewood and ebony I buff on a buffing wheel after sanding to 800 or 1000, 800/1000 grit. Then hit it with Howard's feed and wax, beeswax and orange oil. Okay, I haven't heard of that. That's interesting. Larry Kuhn writes, I use my buffing wheel with beautiful results. Yeah, so you can just buff out the raw wood even, and that looks great. Now, I wouldn't take what I'm going to say as what to do, but I have been taken lately to all of my recent guitars. I finish over the whole guitar, the neck and the body, obviously, but also the bridge itself, and I'm doing all of that. after the bridge and the neck are installed. So I'm basically just finishing the guitar as a whole unit. And in a sense, the true oil rubbing process is simplified, but it's also complicated by the fact that there's a lot of inside corners. So it's very tricky. I've gotten very good at rubbing the oil into those corners without having visible French polish marks from that process. I will say though that you can leave your bridges totally raw. You can just buff them like he said. You can just add a little linseed oil to give it something. The sky's the limit here. A little tongue oil. But I think he's asking just to get some ideas of what the community does. And I like what LC Guitars said. In fact, I wanted to return to, on the fretboard, I have also used True Oil on the fretboard before I fret, and it works really well. I haven't followed up like he has after his fret level and crown. I don't know how that would work out with the frets already on there. I'm not saying that it doesn't. Sounds like it does for him. I'm going to try that. I think that's very interesting. But I have done it before fretting with some good success there. But usually if I get a guitar in, or I have a really old guitar here that has a kind of dried out fretboard, I will just give some life to that fretboard simply with boiled linseed oil, either on a 4/0 pad of steel wool. So 4/0 just means it's the finest steel wool. You don't want to use a coarse steel wool for this. Or just on a rag if I don't have the steel wool. That's fine too. You just rub a little on and then rub it off, and that really gives some life and a nice feel to the fretboard again if it's super dried out. And I am gonna just keep this a short one, and we're gonna end it right there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like I said, I got a lot going on here with the Florentine Cutaway and Advanced Binding and Purfling Methods workshops, which just started this month. I've already had 3 students in here. I've got 2 more coming in at the end of the month. Going to Mount Gretna, August 17th and 18th. There's an outdoor art show there. If you want to come check that out, you can look that up and meet me there. Again, August 17th and 18th. I've got another show, an art show in Virginia Beach in October. I don't know the exact date offhand. I'll put it up on the screen when I edit this. So if you guys want to check me out there as well, for some reason I'm doing these art shows lately. I'm just trying something different. I think it's fun because I'm a novelty. I'm the only one there selling guitars. In fact, I may be the only one there who's ever been a vendor at their show selling guitars. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to ask the people there when I go there, because I suspect that that's true. Anyway, I'm also selling Wenge, Redwood, Western Red Cedar. I've gotten mad about resawing lately, and I'm batching out parts to sell to you guys. I haven't gotten it up on the website yet, so if you're interested, just send me an email. I'll hit you back with the pricing and all of that stuff. Off the top of my head, I know the Wenge Dreadnought sets are going for $115. OM/000 sets are going for $108, and Parlor sets are going for $100. These are, you cannot beat these prices. Seriously, these are like really good prices, because I am kind of specializing in Wenge right now, and so that allows me to process them for a pretty good price, because I'm not like other suppliers, trying to have a workflow that involves a wide variety of woods. Okay? Anyway, I think that's good. This was fun. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye for now. If you learned something here, please give this video a like and subscribe so you can be notified when I release a new DIY guitar making video. And if you want to really learn more, take one of my structured online courses at ericschaferguitars.com, or register for a hands-on guitar building workshop here with me in Burnville, Pennsylvania.